I heard something Charlemagne said on his podcast today, and he was talking about how if you have a problem with interracial relationships, you can't really appreciate the fruits of it. Like Obama, J. Cole, and then believe it or not, you also got to think of like Mariah Carey and everything because these people, whether you want to admit to or not, have changed and been influenced in your life one way or another. And that's like anybody else, and not saying that it's always good influences, but it's true. Because again, we sit here and talk about, you know, biblical laws and expectations and guidelines, and me coming from where I come from, this is definitely hard to admit. But a lot of times I feel like I'm having a war with like what God is really telling me, because you got to understand that as long as we've been on this earth, whether you're 15 years old listening to this or 85 listening to this, there has been times before you. Do we really know how long this earth been here? Do we really know how long civilization be here? Because we got to think again, like, yeah, we can go back to research and go back and study and see certain things, but at the same time, we got to remember that we are all here. So whether you're part of a group of people who believe that the Caucasian race was created in the lab, or you're from a community where you feel like black people were animals and they come from apes or whatever, but at the same time, we're still here. We are all here together. So whether you have a problem with interracial relationships, same-sex relationships, or anything else, we have to take this into account. We got to take this into account. What isn't wrong to God? What isn't biblically wrong? Because at the same time is while we're sitting here not doing these mixing of the tribes and mixing with the same sex, we are still judging, we are still condemning. We can't sit here and condemn anyone at all. And I really felt like that was real, because you got to think like J. Cole was raised by his mother. Drake was raised by his mother. Obama was raised by his mother. Mariah Carey, Halle Berry, all these prolific elite celebrities, politicians, or whoever that is mixed raced was raised by their white mother, and in some retrospect, their black father, whether they was in and out the household. But yet at the same time, we got to think about, oh, what about the people who are keeping everything within the family, keeping everything within the bloodline? You think that it's fair for a woman to continue to deal with black men who manipulates, abuse, misuse them, whether it's their poor taste in men or not? We got to take this into account. How many black men do they have to deal with before they give up? Because otherwise, it's like a lot of women was turned out so much by men that they go the other way, and now it's a problem then. But I was sitting here trying not to go that way. It's just these men. But the same thing with men. How many men, black men, white men, or black men, whatever, have to sit here and be chastised for what they lack? As a man, as a father, I don't want to instill that and project that on my son, as far as that he has to be very much so masculine that he can't cry, that he can't, look after his women. He can't protect his women. He can't be there for his children. Because the thing about it is, everything's history, right? Nothing was under the sun. At the same time, I have a conflict with the fact that we all pass judgment on someone, on a group of people, on a society, but then not want to check ourselves. There's so many flaws and entitlement and justification that is crazy. Even myself sometimes fall for this. But everything that I look at is I look at someone's character. And at the same time, you can't live and be a mind ready to say, okay, you gotta, because I know many people who feel a way about same sex couples, interracial couples, and I don't say nothing. The most I say is what I'm saying now is like, what's it to you? Do you want this person? Because at the end of the day, it's not like we're not at this point, and I say this all the time, and I can't say it enough. Is we are at a point where you can't say anything. People know. It's just don't care. How you gonna tell somebody who they should date, who they should deal with? It goes back into kids are off limits. If you are at a certain age, mature wise, you shouldn't be dealing with a person that's underage. I mean, laws are laws, but there's reasons. But we got to think about it also, because if everything is based on biblical or natural order, we got to keep this in mind, people. You was not here when the world started. Yes, maybe there has to be some guidelines, because again, there's a reason why laws were made. There's a lot of laws, especially when it comes to sexuality and marriage and all that stuff, that it was just based on because of a disliking or what it is. I'll go back and say it all the time. It's like, if someone is gay, let them be gay. I'm not gay. I don't have. I'm like, look. I understand as a heterosexual man or heterosexual woman, and as godly and spiritual beings, it's like you want to see heterosexual things, but the nature of it is this: love doesn't have a sexuality, if that makes sense. That's all I can say, if it makes sense. I am done with it. I am done hearing about it. And honestly, man, like, I'm at a point where I'm like, look, I get it. Like, I don't sit here and talk about people in the magnitude as if that they're going to hell. Whether I agree with it or not, I can never condemn somebody that they're going to spend somewhere, because again, hell goes no further than the decision that you make. Okay? Because the way I see it is, God allows things, and whatever consequences that somebody deals with, is it my job as a brother? Is it my job as a father? Is it my job as a man, as a protector, to, tell somebody what they need to be doing? when it comes to sexuality. The best form of love, is to just that, love them. And sometimes loving them can just mean being quiet. Because words do hurt. Entitlement can be misinterpreted. And again, I'm not sitting here trying to defend anyone or trying to offend anyone. I'm just saying that who are you to tell somebody who they can't love or who they can't be with? I can sit here and have these hopes and dreams for my own children, but at the end of the day, they know what's best for them. My parents did the best that they could. So, is it right for me to say that people shouldn't have children if they don't know everything, if they don't have the purity of what supposedly God intended? Be fruitful and multiply. Because here's my take: if you feel like interracial relationships are wrong, then you also have to feel that mingling with other races is wrong. If you feel like same-sex relationships is wrong, I don't know if I want to say this. If you feel like same-sex relationships are wrong, you might have to question your existence. Because there's a lot of you who are still alive, who still have a life because of those same-sex couples that wanted to adopt you after individual who might have been struck out on drugs, mentally unstable, financially unstable, gave you up, or just couldn't, or just who couldn't take care of you. Like, sometimes it's good to get off social media. Sometimes it's good not to read it. Like it pays. Like, intelligent and education pays, but there's also a price. When you have sometimes when you have too much information, it will do some damage to you more than it do good. But that's pretty much all I got. I mean, I just had to express that. You know, again, this is in the Blair podcast, and this is Blair, your cancer care bear. No hair, don't care. All faith, no fear. Thank you for listening. Stay safe, stay prosperous, productive, and positive. I'm out. One.